Whatever you're going to eat is going to be your turn.
Oh, you made it.
That's
Oh,
thank you. I should go.
Sure, welcome to you. Okay. Everyone has a Tanya?
oh. Page 180. Regular pieces. 180.
What if I told you, know, you're lying, motherfucking trapped in the earth?
Oh man.
Yeah, this is the hardest.
Okay.
Yes. So starting this. Seven starting at 12.
It's on page 180. If you're looking in the 180, or you could look Daf Sadik Aleph. Yes, you got it.
Once again, it's a truth.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
What is this? It was five means it's five different. This is how it will be for specific like yeah. This is the shit. Start on wrong. So
There's five parts to Tanya. Like Shmulik just mentioned, he showed me today a copy of a letter from the Rebbe. The Rebbe is advising someone who's starting to learn Tanya to start with Iggeres HaTeshuvah. Even though L'chayr Iggeres HaTeshuvah is Chelik Shlishi, the Rebbe had an unbelievable koch in Iggeres HaTeshuvah. If you took all the Rebbe's explanations in Iggeres HaTeshuvah, you could fill up a telephone book of 500 pages. The Rebbe had unbelievable koch. It started after the 6 Day War. The Rebbe said there's a big Yisrael Tshuva by Klal Yisrael, and the Rebbe had a big koch in it. And throughout the years, whenever there was a challenging time for Klal Yisrael, the Rebbe said that the remedy is to learn Iggeres HaTeshuvah. The Iggeres HaTeshuvah, the Alter Rebbe it was so into it. The Alter Rebbe wrote it twice. He wrote it once. There's a Madura Kama. Actually, the Rebbe asked that they should print the Madura Kama. You can see that Madura Kama means the first edition, and then this is the Madura Basra, the second edition. When you're talking about Iggeres HaTeshuvah, the first Pedic is what's remarkable is that the Alter Rebbe is saying that Tshuva is. People think that Tshuva is Me'ever Layam. Tshuva is a very tough thing. People are scared of Tshuva, and tshuva is like something very far away. That's why people delay it. You know the story they say with the Kotzker Rebbe that they came. He said, Siddim are bothering me. They say that I don't go to mikveh. And even Friday, said the Siddim I gave machin etzoros. So the Kotzker Rebbe said, why don't you go kazaka to the mikveh? They said, where's it saying Shulchan Aruch and to go to the mikveh? I take a bath.
So why did you go what?
To mikveh. The Siddim say he's not going to the mikveh. Yeah. So they're machin etzoros. And the Rav says, where does it say Shulchan Aruch the mechuyev to go out of Shabbos in the mikveh? So the Kotzker Rebbe gesagt, was so sadim foolish Shulchan Aruch. The Magen Avram says that tshuva requires going to the mikveh, and it says in Pirkei Yovis, shuv yom echad lifnei misoscha. When do you know? How do you know which day you're going to die? So every day you have to go to the mikveh. So the emphasis people have. There's a blockage to tshuva. Why? Because the Alter Rebbe is going to say in the first page, the blockage people have to tshuva is because they built up in their mind all kinds of things, demyonis and chizyonis, that are not part of mitzvah's tshuva. They're b'chlal not part of mitzvah's tshuva. They think that tshuva is haniyas and sigufim and even charot ala ovar and kabbalah tova ala haba and vidui and tshuva and bakoshes mechila. And therefore, it's very hard for them. I was talking today to someone who's gone through a very, very, very long journey in life, and they're still in the journey. And I told them I'm starting a Shiur Iggeres HaTeshuvah. Oh, Rabbi, I'd love to hear about Tshuva. They're going through a very difficult stage in their life, and they've gone through a lot of therapy. I said the Alter Rebbe is saying that really therapy has got it wrong, because they think that you have to expunge the past in order to go further. But if you start the first Pedic in Iggeres HaTeshuvah, The Alter Rebbe brings a raya, brings a raya from the Gemara. Like everything, the Alter Rebbe has to start with a pasuk and a Gemara and a din of Shulchan Aruch. The Alter Rebbe brings a raya from a pasuk and a Gemara and a din of Shulchan Aruch. That's not true. Alter Rebbe says it's a befedish Gemara in Pei Gimel the Sanhedrin and Daf Mem Daled that it says HaTeshuvah. So the Gemara says if these people they're malve beribis, they have to stop even to a goy. And if these people are gazlanim, if these, I'm sorry, the Mesachik the Kuvia, Mishisharvru, Pispasayim, they break the whatever they have, the games, the toys, the machines, the cards, they break it. And what happens? A person that mafricha yoinim, they do fights between animals, a cockfight, dog fight. There's Rashi says fights, but there's a machlokas rishonim what it is. If it's a races to make money, or it's a or they're making a fight and they're betting on the fights. It's zabazach really in a way like bets. And they that they break the stages and mafila b'midbar lo yasu. We say that those that are socially paid shviyas when they that come next time, and we see they're not doing it. So, and that's brought in Shulchan Aruch lagabi hilchos. I don't want to get too deep into the halachas. It's a tutzach. There's a machloikis and the shach and the ktsois and the nesivis and there's the tumim and there's the Pesach HaTeshuvah brings from the Chassam Sofer v'chulu. But the bottom line, the Alter Rebbe says, you see that Teshuvah is not about expunging the past. And the Alter Rebbe Taka says, I'm aware that Rabbeinu Yonah writes, the Chavis Halavovitz writes that has to do with Charot Ala Ova. The Rebbe said that the Alter Rebbe holds it's not Charot Ala Ova. Even though the Alter Rebbe is later going to say that there is a union of Charot Ala Ova and Vidui, the Rebbe says the pshat is that's not a chelik mamash mitzvahs tshuva, but kindness is zero, no connection at all. Taneis and segufim have zero shaykhs. And the Alter Rebbe channel for emphasis. And what's the pshat? The Alter Rebbe for emphasis. Taneis and segufim, huge mistake. And what is the pshat of Charot Ala Ovar and Mechila and Vidui? But that's not the etzem of tshuva. That's the froth around the tshuva. Tshuva is a zivas achet. So I'm telling this to a person. I said, like so much of therapy is based on, expunging the past. And here the Alter Rebbe is saying is that, it really is about making a conscious decision that I want to take a new path in life. And I want to be makabel the oil malchus shemaim, and that's it. And the other things is all froth. It's all icing on the cake. And the Alter Rebbe is really making it very easy to go into tshuva. Rabbi Groner was once verbringing, and Rabbi Groner said, and the Rebbe, as I mentioned, the Rebbe said, on asof biyurim nifloim nesukim advash on Iggeres HaTeshuvah. Once the Rebbe spoke about this, the Alter Rebbe, and spoke about how the Alter Rebbe, the Shitta, different Rishonim, that the Alter Rebbe holds it's only a zivas achet. I made the conscious decision, ma'ayem v'holom, that it's a zivas achet.
And you can have one without
the Rebbe, by the way, I just wanted to say this. In Tovshin Chavtes, there's a maimer, Meraglav Puma Derove, Tovshin Chavtes. The Rebbe said that the Ikin Inyan of Iggeres HaTeshuvah is that the Alter Rebbe is machadish, that even though that the Zoya says that on the Oven HaYedua there is no tshuva, the Alter Rebbe wants to be machadish that there is tshuva on it. And the M is the Ikin Inyan of Iggeres HaTeshuvah is for that chait. And that's the Iker Chiddush what the Alter Rebbe wants to accomplish. It's fair enough that the Rebbe only mentioned it once. So, Remela, that's the list.
Der macht sind es. Die Welt meint, die Welt versteht nicht der Zoya. Das ist der Quote von machen. Die Welt versteht nicht der Zoya. Weil Tshuva hilft auf alles dem.
And the Alter Rebbe says, the Tshuva, the Alter Rebbe is going to say it in the next page. But back here, so what Rabbi Groner was saying is that the Rebbe said Abir Niflo. And next day the Rebbe was in the office and the Rebbe asked him, in the first Perek Ketanya. So he said the Olam Flek, but some tzaddik himself writes in Mitzvah's video tshuva that Tzemach Tzaddik says that every chait has the neshama and the guf. And when how do you kill the neshama and the guf of the chait? Through the akira said otzon, through the charot of the chait. Instead of the pleasure I had the sin, now I have tsar from it. So that expunges it takes the sin out of me, and the neshama kills the neshama of the chet. And through saying vidu dvarim and bakoshes mechilo, that kills the barakimas vos of avamaisav. and that kills the body of the chait. So we see that there's more besides azivas hachait. There's another few components in tshuva, similar to what Rabbi Yochanan and Chavis Levava say. So the Rebbe smiled and said, "No, if I said over everything that Tzemach Tzedek said, so what was I machadish?" When I heard it from Rabbi Groner, I thought it was like little, as they say, cheek and tongue. Tongue in cheek. I'm sorry. So what's the pshat? I think the pshat. Well, it's not. The pshat is simple. The Rebbe Tuvgeton happens. The Rebbe Tuvgeton a revolution in tshuva. Bali tshuva. The Rebbe was the Rebbe Bali tshuva.
Meaning
So
there was no Balshu?
the Bali tshuva. Frag the Yid that the song about the pshat is. I'm not trying to saying a tifa pshat from Afabring. Ask every Yid who's the Rebbe the Bali tshuvas. So the Rebbe is so therefore the Rebbe said, yeah. So if you're gonna vasa b'chuvgetan, the Rebbe wanted to say, read this Pedic very well, and you'll notice that tshuva is very easy. Tshuva, the etzim tshuva has nothing to do with even charot al over, which is a tough thing to get to, and has nothing to do with bakoshes mechila, which is not so hard, but also some people have a hard time with that. It's just azivas achet to say from now on, I'm following the rules of Melech Malach Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's it. So I'm telling it to someone who's going through a very tough time in life, and they're going through therapy. He says, Rabbi, I think that a lot of therapies now are really getting it, and there's a lot of new Mahalchim therapy that's saying that we're wasting time about trying to expunge the past, and just have to make pathways in the brain going in the future, and just have to walk, looking forward and not looking backwards. So what was the accomplishment of the Alter Rebbe? I said, yeah, the Akash Alter Rebbe, he said it 200 years ago. No, the truth is that when you continue in Tanya, the Alter Rebbe is very, very teeth. What's Tshuva Tator? What's Tshuva Eloah? Nadav Zayin B'Simcha. It's not so easy to be B'Simcha Kol Yoma. It's not so easy to be B'Simcha. The Alter Rebbe demands the person should but so how do I know that I did Tshuva Eloah? I'm B'Simcha. No. So but then if I'm not B'Simcha, so I'm missing Tshuva Eloah. Now the Rebbe says Tshuva Eloah is very important. So the truth is, as we go along in the Iggeres tshuva is a very big deal. And Adarabah, the Rebbe says and with the Torah that there's a big mistake that people make, that they think that tshuva is only for the Rishonim. But tzaddikim don't have to do tshuva. Fakir, that tshuva is to bring the neshama back to its place. So I'm laughing because there was a Fabrengen, and someone asked my grandfather, and not one, but I'm talking about one of them, one of my uncles. He came here once to Fabreng. Remember Kayelo 2 years ago, I think. Yes. So yeah, from Australia. So they said that Mendel, I hate them about tshuva. So he had a chayim. He said, I don't know. Last time I checked, it noch nicht tshuva getan. Last time I checked what? It noch nicht tshuva getan. Noch nicht tshuva getan. Or you telling me my son-in-law's about tshuva? It's not true. Noch nicht tshuva getan.
So when I was a kid in Kfar Chabad, many of us came from Russia to Kfar Chabad, and the Rebbe asked us to be a shpia in yeshiva. All Russian men don't speak Hebrew, only Yiddish, and he's going to give shpia at the Kofen. Walking in the Zal, he's an American boy that jeans, long hair, slowly on and he's sitting over there alone. Mama's like Aleph Beis, really. He was stopped when he says, "Who is this? This is a new Baal Tshuva." They said, I'm working for 50 years to be about tshuva. He just came about tshuva. No, but he was like really asking, like, don't understand. What do you mean?
Daf Tzadik Aleph, page 180. Okay, let's start. Tanya. So if you see, the Alter Rebbe loves the word Tanya, because if you look in the Soif Yuma, you'll see that this is a discussion between Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah. Ramasya ben Choresh asked Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah, teach me about the Arbe Chiluki Kapora Shahoyer Bishmol Doirish. And he answered him. And he told him there's 3 Chiluki Kapora, but doesn't say one word Tanya. The Alter Rebbe loves the word Tanya. He found that there's a Girsa in the Ein Yaakov that's also quoted in the Kesav Mishnah that it says there Tanya, that it says Tanya, that it's a Braise. Why did Alter Rebbe like so much the word Tanya? So the time is short, and I already wrote it up. And believe it, I'll send out the email tonight after Maida. That's Shenzhen, because I just want to move in the Pedic. But they see that the Alter Rebbe, and just like in the first Tanya, because really if you look in the beginning of Tanya, the Alter Rebbe starts Tanya B'Sok Perigimel Danida, and if you look in the Gemara, B'Sok Perigimel, it doesn't say Tanya. The same story over there. It's a guess of the Ein Yaakov. True, Rabbi Yaakov Ibn Chaviv was a Goan Otzim, he was a tzaddik, and he had Girsa. But why did the Alter Rebbe pick Dafka that Girsa? Because he wanted to start with Tanya.
Few explanations why.
There's a few explanations, and that applies there and here. Tanya, there's 3 levels of kapora. The Teshuvah Kolech, and Teshuvah goes to every one of them. Over a mitzvah say v'shav, a person when transgressed on a mitzvah say, and he does Teshuvah, he doesn't move. In other words, it's instantaneous that he right away gets mechila. Over al mitzvah leita say v'shav. Person was over a mitzvah like this, and it does tshuva toila b'im kippur machaper tshuva. It makes that it should hang, it should be suspended, but the kapara is only from Yom Kippur. Now, Alter Rebbe now says a very important hagoah. Pirish afagav v'linikim mitzvah say gedola shaberches like to say. There's a question we find in the whole Shas that we say that whenever there's a clash between a mitzvah say and a loita say, the mitzvah say is stronger. So if you have a mitzvah of tzitzis and you have a isur of shatnez, a mitzvah say, a positive mitzvah of wearing tzitzis, and a prohibition of shatnez, so mitzvah tzitzis is stronger. Wear the shatnez. You should wear tzitzis with shatnez. So you see that when it comes to mitzvahs, say and let's say mitzvah is stronger. Why is it when you do tshuva, it's the other way around? Mitzvah say, I like to say there's tshuva and it's toilet and he waits till Yom Kippur. Why is it? So alpi niglas technishkin kashem. That's what the Rabban Shalom, those are the rules that the Rabban Shalom made. We're learning from Psukim. But in the world of Machshava, it's a question. Which one is Gedolah? Mitzvah say or loita say. So the Alter Rebbe answers, Hainu Mishum, Shadei Kiyum Mitzvah say, Mamshech Oyer B'Shefa B'Elam Matzal Yoinim. Through the Kiyum of Mitzvah say, a person as Mamshech brings down a light, an unbelievable light into the higher worlds, and that light is Ma'odus Uyd Ein Say Baruchu, from the light, the infinite light of the Eibishter. The Shkos B'Zayr, the Zayr says that Amach Pikudin in the Amach Evonim the Malkim, 248 mitzvahs, are 248 Evonim of the Melech. As I'll say, the 248 mitzvahs connected 248 Evonim. Simple pshat in the Gemara is that it's just a simon. How should you remember? But the Zohar says it's a pshat is just like a person has a soul. The soul could think, could see, could smell, could hear. Elamai, the soul needs a body to do it, but it's not the body, it's the soul that's in the body. So the same thing, when there's 248 mitzvahs, there's 240 ways to megala the Eibishter himself through the 248 mitzvahs. So when a Yid does the 248 mitzvahs, he bringing down the Oyer Ein Sof into all the Oylamas, not only in the Oylamas, v'gamal nafsher lakis, also on his own nafsher lakis. He's drawing down or the chef onto his nefesh elokis, kamashakos avnu, kamashakos, kamashaimrim. Asher kedushaну b'mitzvah. Before every mitzvah, you say Asher kedushanu b'mitzvah. The Eibishter gave this kedusha through the mitzvah. But when it comes to tshuva, they forgive him. They wipe away the punishment, even though he rebelled against the kingdom of the Eibishter and he didn't do what the Eibishter said. Okay, so they forgive it. The light is always going to miss. So the Gemara says, what is that? That because this is man krishma, so he can never make it up. He can never ever make it up. We can never make that up. So therefore, when he's doing tshuva, he's not bringing back that light. A person is meant to live for this amount of days. He's meant in his lifetime to say 2,333 times Krishma. He missed one. That oid ain't stuff he can never bring back. Elamai, it was a chutzpah. The Eibishter said to do something, and he slept with a pillow on his head. So he says, the Eibishter, please forgive me. The Eibishter immediately forgives again. Let's move on.
What if I give help?
Huh?
What if I give help?
Because there's two parts in this. There's one Indian that he was over Sachutzpah, that he was over Maimer HaMelech. So for that, he's doing tshuva. And the other part of tshuva is to bring back the oiris. To bring back the oiris is impossible. Elamai, to ask forgiveness for being over Maimer HaMelech, for being a chutzpahniak. So for this, it's good enough that
Tshuva cannot return back the clock.
right, a regular tshuva at least. That's what we're talking now. The regular tshuva that we're talking in Perek Aleph and Tanya at least. So the story. There's so many stories and so many mashalim on this, but the Russians, the Lubavitch Chassidim will come from Russia. So I think it's that there was a soldier. He was a Cossack. The Cossacks were Yedua, that they were also Rishonim. But anyway, they were very dedicated to the Russian Tsars. There was bodyguards. This guy was standing in front of the Winter Palace to stand guard, but it's stuck in the north. It's cold, and the guy froze. He almost froze to death. So when his commanding officer came, they gave him a flask. So they asked, why give him a flask? The guy is so dedicated. He didn't walk away. Almost died. So he said, what do you mean? The fact that he knew that he had the honor to stand guard and to protect the king, that should have warmed him up. His whole body should have been warmed up by this honor and glory that he has to stand in front of the Tsar. Elamai is he didn't feel the Gavaldika honor and glory. So it says he deserves a patch. So the person slept with a pillow on his head. So the Ebsha says, okay, listen. But the oir is neder. Again, the simple truth that we're talking about here, the oir is neder. But the oir al mitzvah loita say, a person that is oir al loita say, because the Ra is now cleaved, is dug in, is glued into his nefesh. Makes a pagam l'mayla b'shor shemakam chutz, when the source and the place when the sham was carved out. But lavush yud sfiras that siyak mashkason v'tikuni zoyed the lavush is tikna in loin the manay porch l'shmas l'bein le b'nei nosha. That the Eibishter made that the 10 spheres have lavushim that from there fly out the neshamas. So the neshama of a person comes from the lavushim of the 10 spheres. So when just like the neshama now through Aveda gets a pagam, the 10 spheres also get a pagam. Lakach henka porla nafshe. V'loy l'mayl ad yom kippur mashkosa v'chiper ala kodesh metumas b'nei Yisrael v'pisheim lifnei Hashem tetoru. Lifnei means higher than Yud Kevav ki lifnei da'aki. V'lachein ein lilmud mekam shum kula chas v'sham b'mitzvah say b'frat b'tal matoira. Can't learn from here a kula that a person should say that he could be makel the chas v'shalom fakert b'frat b'tal matoira. Other Rab Amar Azal, as I say, just say bitter k'shborach l'bedzor v'gilaray shvichas damen afshem krisus misd bezdin v'lebitter al bitter tal matoira. The Gemara says in Chagiga in the fourth Pedic that the Gemara says that they asked Navi Yirmiyah Adma of the Oretz. He said al ozvan as teiros. Gemara says that the Eibishter says Halavai oisi ozva v'terosi shamru. Halavai oisi they stopped if they were even oiven avodah zorah gilaray shmichstam shkefela. But they stopped learning Torah. Then there's another member in the Gemara. The Gemara says if they had kept, if they were learning Torah, then a mo'ashaba machzir l'muted. But according to the first member in the Gemara, we're just saying Pasha, that learning Torah would have been the Eibishter said if they did avodah zorah gila raish chasam. But Krisis and Mrs. Bezin. But as long as they were learning Torah, so what's the pshat? How could you understand this? So the Alter Rebbe is saying, yeah, because Pashat Mitzvah say is bringing down the light. The whole purpose while we're in this world, it's offensive. How you playing in life, offense and defense. And some people, their whole life is defense. If they could dodge a bullet another day, it's a good. But it's not about that. It's not about defense. I'm sorry. It's offense. It's about bringing down Oirein Soif. A lot of the people had like a shaila on the Rebbe's Meftzayim. And the Rebbe's Meftzayim were the all mitzvahs say and all very simplistic campaigns. What are you gonna wrap up the film? But the emes is this is where it is. The iked is emphasis of our life is bringing down oid ein soif to our neshama and also to all the olamas. So in order for all the olamas to get the oid is through our mitzvahs, and that's the main thing in life. Elamai, there's also defense, not to get soiled by sin, not to chas v'sholem have min eslachlach b'cheit, but still the iked is mitzvah say, and that's the point.
Is there any piyut on Yom Kippur that reflects this idea that the alamos are fully restored on Yom Kippur?
I mean, there's the Shilas HaTeshuvah of the Marit. The Marit, it's in the Chelik Aleph, Simen Kuf. He says a beautiful marshal. He said there was a Chochem Echad Meraglim Mekume, such a marshal, that the king had a person who played violin. He played violin. Everyone melted. Everyone's heart melted. The king loved this guy. He played violin, and it was unbelievable. But the problem with the guy was that he got into fights with people. He would steal. He would hurt people. They came to the Melech and they said, "What can we do with this guy?" Melech didn't want to. Was mavata all this chatoim avonis pshaim. The Melech said, "I can't. I love this guy's music. It's unbelievable." One day, this guy got into a fight with someone else, and the guy broke off his hands. He couldn't play his violin anymore. They came to the Melech, and they started again complaining. This guy is take him to the gallows. Kolzman, this guy was playing. That's what the Barit said. Kolzman, it's a marshal for the Gemara in Yerushalmi. Kolzman, this guy was playing violin. The Yid that's learning Torah is playing violin for the Rebbeinu Shalom. Yid is playing violin. So as long as he's playing violin, that's the main thing. So the question is why is the Meftzayim campaign focused so heavily on film and on positive mitzvahs and mezuzah, chulu, even though there is some of the mitzvahs like have a little bit of a component of loita say, but that's the iked. The iked is that the yid comes in this world in order to bring down the oil. Stop. We're already learning Iggeres HaTeshuvah, the yeshiva welt. There's a story that everyone loves in the yeshiva welt. That Olam Yeshiva loves the story. The story is that Bach, his son-in-law, is the Taz, right? In every single Shulchan Aruch, he writes the Lokem Moed Vechom. So his father-in-law promised that for his whole life he'll support his son-in-law, and he'll give him basar shor b'chol yom. He'll give him to eat meat every day to be gesund. Oh, who wants? How are you going to be healthy? By eating bananas, boss. But if you eat basar shor every day, you'll be healthy. Yeah, the Gemara says exactly. So, that you have to have this Rishmeina the Torah. So what happened was that the Bach couldn't afford it. At the time he could, but then so he made a deal with the butcher, with the shochet, that the people don't like so much the lungs. The lungs you can't even buy in the store today. And in some countries you could, but in America they don't sell it. You can't buy it. But anyway, even the places where they do sell lung, it's not such a choshev a cut of meat. It's not so gewaldig. So because of this story, when we had the Talmud and we had the Yeshiva and we did the Shkita. Yeah, so I said afterwards, maybe we could, no one said, but I said we should cook it. We can only understand the story of the Taz if we cook this long, we'll taste it. And we'll see, Taka, is it that awful? The Taz went to Bezin and he complained against his father-in-law that that's not called B'sar Shor. The Bezin Paskin that the Bach is right. So it is. That's a Zezok de Veldemais. You heard it differently. Huh? No, that's good. It's kosher. This is meat. It's considered meat. So then when he lost it in Torah, they asked, so the Taz smiled. And he said that the reason he brought his father-in-law for the Torah is exactly that Bezdin Shalmaila, they'll say your son-in-law could have learned better, but he couldn't focus so much because he didn't have real good red meat. So the Bezdin Chingapaskin that this is okay, fine. So this is it. Okay. Anyway, back to here. This is a Hagoah from the Alter Rebbe about the difference of mitzvah say and mitzvah loita say, and how we prioritize in our life offense and defense. Let's continue. The third kapora in the Braise, 4.5 lines from the bottom. Over Priestess and Mrs. Bezdin, Tshuva Yom Kippur Toilam Yisurim Amarke. That Tshuva Yom Kippur, it's hanging, it's suspended, and then Yisurim, they finish off the kapora. Pidush, what does it mean? Mamarkim goymen na kapora v'maloshin meriku shtifa. Like in the end of Maseches Vochim, talk about cleaning and expunging or in Yodedeya, in Siman Kufei, or in Siman Kufchof Aleph, we're talking about Kasher and Kalim. Merika Vishtifa means to take out, expunge the tumah that's in the walls of the pot. Huh? Let's tzach hanefesh. Kaporo uloshen kinuach shemekanech lichluch. Kapora means he wipes away the lichluch, and Merika Vishtifa is a deep cleansing. So these are the three chilukei kapara. That through a shevet, which is a stick, the Eibusha says he'll beat out the pshoim or benegoyim ma'avono.
So any person who has a story, like me and the Eibusha right now, is normal for the bonus.
Right. But that's what it was. Yeah. Emes.
It's shining.
There's the Siddur Shemaisa that the Reb Nochem of Chernobyl, before he passed away, he called his son Reb Motala, and he asked him to be Mamala Makoimai. Reb Motala didn't want. So he said to his father, he will be Makabel, but tonight his father will come to him as Man Lazman and teach him what he's supposed to do. Wie Zman Rebbe? Lachem Zozeh. Yemat Ki Yisraf. Okay. And he kept his word, Mazman Lazman, he would come.
What is it for yourself?
So they gave him a handshake again, and Taka Kachav and Motla Gevaran the Rebbe, and his father would come to him as Man Lazman. Then all of a sudden his father stopped coming for a very, very long time. And Motla had a terrible shivrin alay from it. He felt terrible about this. And he did tshuva, and finally his father came to him. And the first question Motla asked was, what happened? What did I do so terrible? So he said, you remember that someone came to you and he said that Ahman al-Itzlan is Meduka b'Yisurim, that he has a lot of Yisurim. And he went through and he told you all his Yisurim that he has. And what did you answer him? So Motla said, what should I answer? What am I supposed to tell him? I saw in heaven that there's nothing I could do to change, but he was a broken heart. So I told him, I said, yeah, as a Sharia of Hashem Yechiach. That if you have Yisurim, it means the Eibishter loves you and he wants to cleanse you. Because if otherwise, the Eibishter doesn't care. But if the Eibishter cares about you, he wants to cleanse you. A father cares about their child. And if the kid is gemacht in the pamper, so take off the pamper, put them in the bathtub and wash it up. The kid is screaming and yelling, but the father is doing it because he loves the child. So what did I say wrong? So that Nochem said, you read the pasuk wrong. You didn't read the pasuk right. You don't know how to read a pasuk. Let me teach you how to read a pasuk. Yes, if you love a Yid, Hashem Yechiach. You should give Eichacha to the Eibishter. You should give a Eichacha to the Eibishter and tell him to stop giving Yisurim to a Yid. I say, if you love a Yid, Hashem Yechiach. Give Eichacha to the Ramana Shalom. That's
like nice.
Exactly. But that's that. But no, but it's very important. It's important. In other words, when you're seeing it at someone else, that's the derech chassidus, midas chassidus, derech chassidus, to have this right, to have this attitude. But
internally for yourself,
right.
That's right. But if someone else is right, someone else than that.
Ad ken loshen abrayis, till is the loshen abrayis. Here is the loshen abrayis. The The emes is that it's a little bit an interesting Gemara there. It's from the Mishnah till the end. It's like it's elusive things. It's like really it's about kapora, and the Mishnah talks about it. And there's a machlokes the Mishnah about Kiva Rebbe Bazarian, and there's a Toisus, and the Gemara continues and continues, it goes on and on. The Alter Rebbe like Tanya b'soif shloisha chiluki kapora. But the emes the Gemara says that Rabbi Shmuel says arba chiluki kapora. Arba chiluki kapora. And the emes there's a machlokes there, and the Rishonim like meforshim how you learn it, because the Gemara says that Rabbi Shmuel hoya doirish arba chiluki kapora. There was 4 levels in kapora. So the Masi Machoresh asked Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah, please teach me what are the arba chiluki kapora. So Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah told him, I'll tell you what the arba chiluki kapora. Mitzvah say Mitzvah loita say you have to wait Yom Kippur, and if it's Krisis and Mrs. Bezdin, the person has to wait for Yisurim to finish it off. And Chil Hashem, it's only been Misasai that it's finally cleansed. So that was the answer. But Takar Belazar ben Azariah says that the shloisha chiluka kafara. So the Mashal says that the first one there's no kapara. It's right away. It's the 3 levels that Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah said that the 3 levels is Yom Kippur. You have to wait for Yom Kippur. You have to wait for Yisurim. A person has to wait for Misa. This is what the Alter Rebbe is trying to emphasize at Kan Lashon HaBraisa, that the Mashal is wrong. The Alter Rebbe is saying that I don't like the pshat of the Mashal. The Alter Rebbe is trying to say is no, that the 3 chalukei kapora that Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah tried to say is mitzvah say, mitzvah loita say, and krisis mitzvah bez. And the thing about Chil Hashem that a person nebach is only going to happen mishas misosei. The Alter Rebbe is not bringing. And the Alter Rebbe is explaining later in the Pedic, based on explanation, you'll understand what Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah was saying to the Masi ben Choresh, saying you're wrong. There's no arba chiluki kapora. The point of kapora is that a yid should live. But if a person the taka, it's true when the neshama goes out of the goof, the neshama also needs redemption that shouldn't have to go to Gehenna. So there is a thing of kapora, but the Indian of mitzvahs tshuva is lo yamesam yahalaluka. We learned the Gemara this week, so it's only when you're alive. You're going to say that kapora is from the Eibishter. It's not part of the tshuva. True. The tshuva is like davening. The Rebbe says a person davening. Does the Eibishter have to fulfill what you daven for? It happens sometimes you daven for something that the Rebbe Hashem doesn't give it to you. Does it mean that the davening went down the shredder? You wasted your time? No, you did the mitzvah tefillah. Yeah, the Eibishter, but the emes is the ultimate of the tefillah is that the tefillah should be accepted. Same thing in Torah. Tachlis the chochma tshuva ma'asim tovim. Does it happen that every person that learns Torah becomes a refined human being? It's a tref tzachamal that it doesn't happen that way. But tachlis chochma is tshuva ma'asim tovim. The tachlis of tshuva is that there should come lidei kapora. The tachlis of tshuva is that it should come to kapora. So even though, okay, I did my part, I did tshuva, but the purpose of tshuva is that it should be, a person should be cleansed. So therefore, but this is all when a person is alive. For neshama beguf, the Alter Rebbe is saying that's what Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah answered to the Masi ben Choresh. You're saying I'm also agreeing that Rabbi Shmuel said 4 things. But that's not shloish. But really, it's shloisha chiluka kapora, because when it comes to the ikir, what we celebrate, the ikir is when we're saying mitzvahs tshuva, and the tshuva brings kapora, is the 3 things that a person could do in his lifetime. This that a person gets cleansed, that if never he did chil Hashem, and that cleansing only happens lachem oisei, that's not what we're counting, because that's not the point, and that's what Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah was answering to the Masya ben Choresh. Okay, let's read quickly. Hine mitzvahs tshuva min haTorah yazivus achet kolvat. When you ask min haTorah what's mitzvahs tshuva, it's only to let go of the sin, not expunging the past, not asking for mechila, not saying vidui, none of that.
Not even
Not even charot alov, right? Huh?
Best stop and make it avera.
Yeah, Azivas Achet Balvad Kedisa Gemara, pay the Gimel to Sanhedrin. As I mentioned before, the four examples that the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, or B'chosher Mishpat is brought down the din, Soif Simon Lamadala, Linyan Edus. He's Pasaladus unless you see that he broke the charts, he broke if he has animals fighting, he trained them, he breaks the stage, v'chulu v'chulu. So that
if you also the faith, it's just unspoken that you have chavata.
okay, I hear. So the Rebbe says that the emphasis that the Gemara has in Kiddushin. The Gemara has in Kiddushin that a person says, "Harin mekudesh zamanash ni tzadi gomo." Say Sofek mekudesh shemir, but if vadiyira,
Because you could do your
like the mehesh. The Rebbe says because the Alter Rebbe likes to bring a raya from dinim ominous. Why? Because dinim ominous we say by other things we we go al acher aroiv, but the moment ain't oilchem the moment acher aroiv. Alter Rebbe wanted to bring what we call a real Litvish raya. So a raya. Don't tell me no. It's a din and dinim mominus. By mominus, we say and still we say that's azivas achet balvad. That's mitzvah shuvah min hatoyr. Hainu sheikra believe shalom. What does it mean azivas achet? To quantify it is that he decides in his heart with a full heart labal yoshev oid lekisla that he will never go back to the silliness. Limrid b'malchusay to rebel against the Eibish's kingdom. Alayav mitzvah samelach chas shalom. Him mitzvah sevim mitzvah sloita say. Which is a mile on each one. It's like a chutzpah. He says don't do it, and he does it. And it's to say also there's a certain, as we said before. So that's mitzvah's tshuva min haTorah. That's it. V'zeu iker kishlosh tshuva, and that's the main thing when we say tshuva. Shlosh v'lashem b'chaliba b'chalavshei lo avdei l'shamrei kol mitzvaysa. That's the main thing of tshuva, to come back to the Eibishter with his whole heart. And he says now he's going to serve the Eibishter and do all the mitzvahs. Kamishkosav, the Alter Rebbe brings 4 rayas from 4 different psukim. Yazav Rosh Darkei v'ish ava machshavosav v'yoshev al Hashem. That he lets go of the old machshavas and he says, "I'm going back to the Eibishter." V'parshas nitzav m'ksiv v'shavta ad Hashem alekecha v'shamata v'koiloi and v'chol avavcha. And then we have 2 more psukim in the Navi. One Amos and one in Eicha. Shuva Yisrael ad Hashem alekecha v'shaveinu Hashem elecha. Why does Alter Rebbe have to bring 4 psukim? It's obviously boilet l'inaim. First, it's a little interesting that he brings a pasuk from a Tanakh before Parshas Netzav. That's not such a big kasha, because the pasuk Yazav Rosh Darke Vishava Machshavosav is a very strong. That all it is a ziva sachet pelavad. He has to let go from Machshavosav v'yoshev al Hashem. The truth is, you understand why that pasuk is first. Why did Alter Rebbe need 4 psukim? But that says time is short, but there's a few pshatim from the Rebbe. And one of them is that the Alter Rebbe is later going to say in Tanya that tshuva is to heal all 4 parts of the neshama, the yud, the hey, the vav, and the hey. And you work your way up. The first pasuk is Yazav Rosh Darkei, which is Maisa, which is Malchus, which is hey. And then he goes higher, then B'chol Avavcha, which is Leiv, is then the Midas, which is Vav, and then he goes Shuva Yisrael, which is Yisrael Hashem Amayla, which is the higher A, and then a Shevina Hashem Elecha, which is the Yud. That's Apir Api Kabbalah, but there can be many other Biurim said, but the bottom line is, the truth is that the Alter Rebbe wants to establish it's a big Kiddush, and therefore he brought 4 psukim, but obviously there has to be a few reasons, why the Alter Rebbe needed 4 reasons, but the bottom line is that the Alter Rebbe brought you 4 psukim, and he brings a Gemara Meforeshes, not Din Choisha Mishpat, to show you his shita that mitzvah tshuva min haTorah is azivas achet balvad, and that's it. V'loy kedas ha'amoy.
Go with that.
About this one. V'loy kedas ha'amoy, not like the masses who think shatshuva hi atainis, that tshuva is the fast. No, that's not true. That's a big mistake. Even a person that his transgressions were terrible, and he needs Yisurim. She says he will do it, but not chas v'sholom that the person should do sigufim and roll in the snow or apply painful things to himself. Chas v'sholom, like the Baal Shem Tov said that Ozav Tazav, a person is forbidden for a person to torture himself. If a person returns to the Eibishter with real love, Hazai b'serus l'tata kamayim aponim l'ponim serus l'leila la'ored Abba v'chesed Hashem. The Eibishter shows his love to him, just like a father will take off the pamper and take the baby and put him in the bathtub and clean up the baby. Which is because when the Yisurim are cleaned up in this world, as I say later in Tanya, it's beinarech easier. Say, yeah, if the Eibishter likes someone, he gives them teichacha.
Wait, start up this racist chachma. So where is he?
Wait a minute.
He said he was an achron. What was he?
I'm not sure if he's considered Rishon Achron. Could be a Rishon. I don't know. L'chein lo hiskidoi a Rambam v'smag shum tainis b'mitzvahs HaTeshuvah. The Rambam and the Smag never mention any fast when it comes to tshuva. They don't mention anything. Why don't they mention it? Because Tanaisim and Segufim are totally not part of mitzvahs tshuvas at all. Segufim is forbidden, and Tanaisim, it's not part of the deal. It's not part of mitzvahs tshuva. Why does the Rambam say L'hiskera Rambam v'asmag? There's many moinei mitzvahs. So I didn't see any pshatim from any chassidim. But like the Rebbe said, we have to accomplish something in Beis Menachem Mendel tonight. So I would say like this: the Rambam is simple. Why he says the Rambam? It's the Rambam. What's so special about the Rambam? Because the Rambam wrote Kol Hatzoi Dakul. All the Rishonim, you could say they missed out this prat. This Tshuva is a Heche from Welt. Tshuva is something it's not part of the mitzvahs. It's something unique. Something. Oh, he didn't mention it. But the Rambam says, I'm going to tell you every mitzvah that's negeya, even Hilchas Mashiach, even Karbonas that will have to be brought once, the day when Mashiach Tzidkenu comes. Every halacha, I'm going to tell you my book. So why didn't he mention the Yin of Tainus? The Smag is, which from the Bali HaTeshuvah, really he goes a lot, and he's walking in the heels of the Rambam a lot. And even though he's one of a dozen of Rishonim that are moinei mitzvahs, but I would say there's something unique about a Moshe Mikutzi. And that is, there was a Rosh Yeshiva that came to the Rebbe, and they said that some Sefer said, a whole Tshuva movement and a whole method, you're going to put on film, you don't make new things in Judaism. So the Rebbe said, says, oh, the Hakdama from the Smag, you got it. Pick it up. Who reads Hakdama to any sefer? So the Lubavitcher Rebbe, when he made a takona to learn Rambam, the first day you learn Hakdama to Rambam, because the Rebbe was learned Hakdama to every sefer. So the Rebbe said, I'm not going to learn Hakdama from the Smag. Smag writes how he went from France to Spain, and he crossed the Pyrenees, and he found there was a lot of kehillas that they were off the derech. The first thing is he put on film with everyone. A mitzvah, get this mitzvah. And then he spoke to them until they left they divorced their shiksas. And one thing to the other, and he spoke to them, and he was mekarev them to do tshuva. So the Rebbe said, read the Smag, you'll see what I'm doing is exactly the same thing.
You also had a mitzvah thing?
So I don't know. He didn't say what vehicle and what the colors were in the vehicle. He went over the Pyrenees, but it did sound like he went with the mitzvah thing. So Mela, so because the Alter Rebbe is talking about an expert in Hilchos Tshuva, so the Smag, the Moshe Mikutzi, was given an expert. He was an expert in Tshuva. So and the Smag, who's the expert on Tshuva, and he made so many Bali Tshuva, he doesn't mention a word about Segufim. He doesn't mention a word about Taniyas. So it must be that Taniyas is not a part of Tshuva.
How can that be? That's the whole idea of Yom Kippur, no?
Oh, sorry. So let's continue. But there is an Inyan of Vidui, and there is an Inyan of Makoshas Mechila. So the Rebbe explains what the Alter Rebbe is saying is like this. Sigufim and Tanaisim are, one is forbidden and the other one is called not part of Mitzvah's Tshuva. When it comes to Vida Makoshas Mechila, or Charot al-Hava, that is connected to Tshuva, but that's not Mamish Mitzvah's Tshuva. That's the icing on the cake. That's the icing on the cake. Mashkosa b'toyre v'isvados chatosa. Mashakosa b'yoyel. One of the Nevi'im was Yoel. Yoel was one of the Nevi'im. What the whole story of Yoel is that there was a couple of years of Yisurim. There was the Eretz Yisrael was decimated by Arbe, by locusts, and they ate up everything, and there was an unbelievable famine in Eretz Yisrael. And this famine in Eretz Yisrael is discussed in Yoel, and the pasuk says, "Shuvay odai b'cholavavchem mitzum ubevchi ubemisped." That pasuk says, "Kira levavchem al bigdeichem." So it says that you should do tshuva mitzum ubevchi. You should cry. You should cry.
You see it by Esther that they took the 3 days.
So hainu lavat lagzeide shenigzer lamarik oven ador al yedei yisurim ba'arba. That wasn't a chelik of tshuva. That wasn't a chelik of tshuva. The union of tzoyim abechi is because there was terrible sins that there was, and the Eibishter said that he has to expunge it through the yisurim. So instead of the yisurim ba'arba, the Eibishter says that there has to be yisurim, but instead of the yisurim, through tsuma b'chi, you can exchange it. But it's not mitzad the mitzvah's tshuva. It has nothing to do with mitzvah mitzvah's tshuva. It's to take away the yisurim. V'haina tam b'chol taniyas shemesayim b'chol tzora shaloi tovel atzibur k'mashkosav b'megillas Esther, that Esther said to fast in order to be mevatel gzeiras haman. But it's nothing to do with mitzvah's tshuva. It's nothing to do with mitzvah's tshuva. Taka fasting has a segula nifloa to take away yisurim.
No,
but it's not a chelik of tshuva. It's not a chelik of tshuva. Masha cause Isaiah always said about his father. His father used to learn a lot, the sefer from the middle of Derech Chaim, which is a sefer of how to do tshuva. So whenever he would look even at the sefer, he used to cry b'chiyas atzumas. So finally the Rebbe Rashab told him that it's forbidden for him to learn the sefer. It's also for him to learn the sefer. Isaiah asked his father, "My health is it asked, but after tshuvaton." So Isaiah said, he heard this from his father, that the Rebbe Rashab said, "Kleibt mir, it has gehört me pia gvura, v'sora avoincha v'chatoscha techupa." That you heard it from me, you heard it from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Your sin has been wiped away. But good. That's a yotzim and a cloud that you get a tzaddik telling you such a thing. So, but otherwise, you have to know from the Tanya what's taka mitzvah's tshuva. So mitzvah's tshuva, the Alter Rebbe says, is not tanesim, is not segufim, it is not bechiyas. Taka, there is an union of tanesim that takes away yisurim, but that's not a chelik of the mitzvah's tshuva. Masha kosa b'sifri amusa. Uberoishim sefer rekech mesefer chasidim arbe tanim v'sigufim lo'ever akrisas and Mrs. Bezin. So what do you do? I mean, Chachmei Ashkenaz, that it didn't creep into our culture for hundreds of years as I from Himalaya. It didn't come from Mars. It came because there were the Tzaddikei Ashkenaz, like the Rekeach and the Rebbeinu Achositz and Chassidim, that that's what they said. The Sifrei Musa have a list of how many Taniyas and the different Sigufim for different Avedas.
It's brought down in Halach also.
Right. Right. So they say what you should do. Why is the Alter Rebbe saying listen again, let's give an example. So here you hear them is that the Alter Rebbe is not stam, because this is a very important thing. This is something which holds up the Geula, and therefore this is something that the Alter Rebbe is very concerned about. So Alter Rebbe says, that's in order to save the person from the Einish Yisurim. But that's not the Etzem HaTeshuvah.
What?
In order to save the person from Yisurim. Yeah. So therefore he has certain Tanayas.
Okay. Don't do Tanesim now.
We'll get to that. Alter Rebbe says not to do it anyway, but that's later.
Right,
exactly. Could be the Rebbe Alter says the second thing. A third thing is ulai. There's sometimes that some people they have a hard time doing through Ava. And those Svarim are helping you do Musar. Svarim are helping you do tshuva through Yida. But that's the word is that the main thing is that the emes what tshuva is azivus achet balvat. So as I started the Shiur, that it's unbelievable that you think about this, that we think so much that you have to expunge the past, you have to go to the past. Emes Taka that Rabbeinu Yonah says that's Charot ala Ova, and the Chavis Alavova says, and the Rebbe says, Lachoida, it's that the Alter Rebbe is not arguing that there's a union of Charot ala Ova. And the Tzemach Tzedek says that the Charot ala Ova kills the neshama of the Aveda, and when a person says vidu, he kills the guf of the Aveda. But that's not etzem mitzvah tshuva. That's froth. That's all around it. But the etzem mitzvah tshuva is azivas achet balvad. So what the Alter Rebbe did with this is really to make a part of alecha dover moed. That's very close. That a person thinks, oh, tshuva, Yom Echad, lefnei misoso,
Without the Chametz, it may be very hard to have a zivas case.
Ah, okay. Who's worried about this sort of? Who's worried? Alter Rebbe is not worried about this sort of. He's just worried about tshuva.
Without the charata.
So Mamela, let's finish off with just a little thing. There's a beautiful story that there was one Sayyid that used to come to the Alter Rebbe. He was a Yid, a Chamet Chochen. They didn't have Parnasa, and Amol Nishtetl, it was very tough. We know that Shem Tov wanted the Yidden should move out. They called them Yeshuvniks. They used to go out to places where Yidden didn't really live, and they would rent from the poritz, the rights on land. The Pritzim were busy drinking mashka, and the Yidden would run the business for them. So some of them became wealthy, or at least had good Parnasa. Problem is that the kids were growing up among the goyim, so they were wealthy, so they would hire a malama to come to their house. The malama typically would be there for a season, a winter, a summer, and then would go home for Pesach and go home for Tishrei. And the malama was finishing the summer season, and he tells the Yeshuvnik he's going. He's going. Where are you going? So he said, I'm going to my Rebbe. Rebbe? You're a Rebbe. I didn't know that Rebbe has a Rebbe. This guy, this Malamed, he was En al Gaba Vel Hashem Alakom. This was the Rebbe. I didn't know his Rebbe has a Rebbe. So he said, I go to my Rebbe, I'm just a teacher, I'm teaching the children, but there's a Rebbe, Rosh Bnei Yisrael. Oh, can I go to your Rebbe? The Malamed was overjoyed. He couldn't afford to travel to Liozna, so he would walk. It would take him a long time. Machaya, the Yeshuvnik says to his wife, we're going to Liozna, we're gonna rent a place there, we're gonna buy food, everything. Machaya, the Malamed was so happy. They're going for the Tishrei, before Rosh Hashanah, they get to Liozna. So when they get there, and the Malamed jumps off the wagon, people like come over, say Shalom Aleichem, again, hear the Tanakh Chofim. And this Pashti can't him nicht. He's already not in his element. He doesn't like it. People are getting in line, and they're waiting to go to Yechidus Alter Rebbe. And the Malamed went in front of him, and he sees people in line. They're waiting. I don't know. He's also waiting in line. So when he comes to the Alter Rebbe, he comes into the room of the Alter Rebbe, and he doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to get apples and honey. What are you supposed to do? So he looks at the Alter Rebbe looks at him, and the Alter Rebbe says, no. So he gets agitated. He says, Rebbe, what's nukkete? So the Alter Rebbe says, no, se trefft sich einmal a Yid, lebt weit von anderen Yiden, and fällt durch, and he starts saying things that this guy is doing Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And se trefft sich einmal a Yid, was lebt zwischen Goyim, and se trefft sich azoi. Alter Rebbe is going through every chet this guy is doing. Every sin this guy is doing, this the Alter Rebbe is saying. So he gets really angry. He slams the door. He runs out, slams the door behind him. So Malamed said, you went in there and said, every sin I did, you are fired. Malamed says, he had a job, everything was good. All of a sudden this happens. So he went back to the Alter Rebbe. He waited in line. He told the Alter Rebbe that what happened. Alter Rebbe said, please call the Yeshuvnik back. When they come back, Alter Rebbe says to the Yeshuvnik, why were you so angry about this Malamed? He told you all my sins. He's sitting in my house and he told you. I'll tell you something. That's for sure. He didn't say a word of Lashon Hara. He didn't tell me any such thing. So how do you know? I'll tell you, said, how do I know? I just said, it's a treft that a Yid could be chas v'shalom, that he could durchfallen as a chazaka. How am I supposed to know that it happened to you? So he said, Rebbe, tell me the
Why
truth.
would he do that?
Tell me the truth. The guy told me about me or did. I'll tell him so. He didn't tell me a word about you. Oh, he started to cry. But Rebbe, everything you said is true. I can do all those things. So how do I do true? Now, Rebbe said, stay here a little bit. I'll teach you how to do true. So stay here a little bit. And Metz Hashem, stay tuned Thursday night to get HaTeshuvah. Together with Alter Rebbe, Natan Shuvah.
Without the charata, it's very hard to teach Shuvah, because if you don't feel bad that you hurt Hashem, that you wrought, that you disappointed Hashem, what else is going to drive you to do Shuvah? The Baal Time is going to talk about it, without the charata, a different
I'll talk about it.
thing that will drive you to Shuvah.
Sure.
Yeah,